Hey, it's Adler from FM 1021 backstage post-show. Dexter and The Moonrocks with Fox the drummer, just Fox the drummer, but all four members are being represented.
All four mics.
All four mics, same time. Mm-hmm. No one's ever done this before. No one's tried it before.
Dude.
No one's been ballsy enough to try it before.
Yeah, man. So this is here we are. I'm really wet. I'm really sweaty. And I'm happy to be here.
You're being polite about being distant, so you don't have to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so here's the thing. I can't. The mic cord. I gotta
you can sweat on the minion.
I gotta represent all the boys in the chat right
Wookiees
now.
are more absorbent, but that's a good. Incredible set, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Congrats on Sad Carolina being the #1 song on the alternative charts right now.
Thank you. It's very fun.
Was that even in the on the dream board of the band?
So it's so interesting because people have been starting by asking us that, and it's from like the and I think everybody always wants the like, oh my gosh, we're so grateful to be here, it's so amazing, which we are, and I think that's the PR trained
part that you have to do
thing, that you have to do. But I think too, there's this part of it where like I played Division I sports, so I'm like a psychopath. I have that like drilled in my head of like championship mentality. And so from our standpoint, we've been like, we've been grinding our ass off for this. We know we're this good. Like this is it. So it's like you're like trying to like chill that part of your brain to be like so grateful and happy to be here, and we're beyond, and like we are obviously everybody that helped us get here and stuff. But also talk your shit a little bit, and
it's like it is like sports. It's not the first time you walked on the fucking field. You're just like
it's not like we were a bar band 3 weeks ago and we're like, fuck, what if we just put this? That'd be crazy. It's like, no,
then All American Rejects called us. That's exactly how things work.
It's like, no, we worked our ass off, and so did our label to get here. So.
Played bar league softball, and then I got called up to the bigs. I didn't even have to go to AAA. It was awesome.
My first big league at bat was a home run. It was a grand slam
what did
in Game 7 of the World Series. No, I was a catcher.
For who?
For Abilene Christian University.
Okay.
Yep. My written position was catcher, but I really played left bench. That was my sometimes I'd play center bench, if they needed a little versatility out of me.
Versatile, man.
So I get to say I was a Division I athlete.
You're a 5-tool player. And most of those tools
I didn't step foot on the fucking The 5 tools I had were to put the bench together.
Well, that's so I spent a week in Abilene years ago.
Okay.
And I was fascinated by it. I was working at a TV station. I was training people software at a TV station in Abilene.
Was it
It's the only one.
Yeah, it's the only.
It's the only one, and all the people there were like from other parts of Texas, so they were like, nobody was taking stock in Abilene. I'm like, so what's there to do here? And I was there first. I really remind myself that my coworkers there. They go
to college,
and I said, is it weirdly Christian here? They go, yeah.
So Abilene has the most churches per square block per capita in the United States.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you go about you probably can't go like a tenth of a mile without seeing a church.
That's what I thought.
In Abilene. Yeah, you can't. It's the Baptists. It's the Methodists a little, but it's really the Baptists and the Church of Christ.
Okay.
That's
the
big.
It seemed like there was a lot. And like I said, I was there for 6 days, 6 out of 7 days. And the final night, that Friday night, they took us like to a club. And I'm like, this club's kind of fun. I go, it's good. Did
you go to Stairs?
Was it around a long time ago? It was a big club. It was a good
There's
club.
2 places to go in Abilene.
Okay.
Yeah, Stairs and Guitars and Cadillacs.
Okay.
There's a club and a honky tonk, and that's it.
And we walked out, and there was these 2 well-meaning college kids giving us little Bibles. And everybody's laughing because they go, told you. You're like, you can't escape it.
So I will tell you a story. Went there to play baseball, you know what I mean? And they don't sell you on the recruiting pitch isn't like, hey, also, you got to go to church 50 times a semester or else you will get kicked out of school. You will get kicked out of school. And so, man, I remember hearing a story where one of our teammates got fined because there was a girl, and so when there weren't co-ed dorms, and you only had visitation hours, which visitation hours were from 6 to noon on Wednesdays.
What year was this?
And then in 2019.
Whoa!
So you could only have girls, so like visitation was 6 to noon, you had to have your door open, and for your RA. And then or it was Friday and Saturday. You could do all day Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
You also had a curfew, was midnight. If you didn't get your curfew, they'd like put you on academic probation and stuff. But I remember we had a teammate who was with, and this is like a 20-year-old man, by the way, was with like a girl in his. They were watching a movie. And so, and they had a rule is both parties, if you're watching a movie in someone's dorm, you had to have both feet on the ground. You could not lay. You could not lay horizontal. You couldn't lay horizontal.
No spooning.
You could not. And so I think an RA walked in and he got fined $50. I believe.
For not having 2 feet on the floor.
No, I will say it is a good university. I got a good education.
No,
I don't want to get. This is not. The baseball program was kind to me.
Archaic rules.
All that stuff. But there's a little things that you have to navigate when it's a different experience when you go to like a Christian school.
The other thing during my time there in Abilene was I go, this college must be like bumping. There's a lot of people here, and they go, we have a lot of international students. I go, why is that? And they said this is true, and I still think it's a joke. They go, it's because people look up alphabetically colleges in the U.S. and Abilene shows up first. And I'm like, so you're funny. Lying.
That's so funny. But yeah, so there's 3 universities there.
Okay.
There's
Abilene
Christian, Hardin-Simmons, and McMurray.
Okay.
And I went to ACU, and I graduated in 3 years. I love all my professors. Shout out Bob Deloney. Bob. You're 73. You're not watching this, but I love you, Bob. Bob was a homicide detective in Houston for 40 years. I was a criminal justice major.
Okay,
I dropped out of law school to do this, so I was on the track to go to law school.
Always drumming, but
always drumming, and I was a valedictorian of ACU.
Good Lord, you're a versatile man. I
loved it. But
a worldly dude.
Bob was our criminal justice teacher. He was a 40-year vet on the Houston Police Force, retired.
Stories.
Bro, he would be talking to you about like civil seizure and like Fourth Amendment rights, and then he'd be like, and like that reminded me of the time that like we were on the scene and this guy just got shot in the head, and you were like, Bob, this is 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, buddy. Like, whoa, where did that come from? It was. Anyway, we should probably talk about music.
No, I like where this is going, but no, I've
gone off the rails.
I'm excited about the single. I love Western Space Crunch. I think it's so well done. So God, did you guys meet in college? I don't know the origin story.
So I was super lucky to where like I had academics and I had athletics, and that helped me like be able to go to college and pretty much be debt free and stuff like that. And so I was kind of working on the side, giving baseball lessons, and so I gave it my best shot at ACU. I went up to Oklahoma and I played NAIA ball because I didn't fit ACU just from an athletic standpoint.
Yeah.
And I gave it 2 years, sucked. I was like, you know what? I'm ready to hang it up. This isn't what I'm meant to be. If you've ever seen Bull Durham, I hit my dinger and I hung him up. I hit my dinger and I hung him up. I have one college home run. And it was my last. Yeah, it was my last. Hit my dinger, hung him up. And so I went back to ACU because I was like, you know what? I have a good scholarship there. I can go back. I was only gone a semester to play ball, and I can graduate a whole year early. So I got out of there by the time I was 21.
3 years. Damn,
3 years. Man. And so I got out of there by the time I was 21. And while I was there, I was like, you know what? I'm not playing ball anymore. I'm super bored. And I was like, I need to find something to do. And so I was giving baseball lessons on the side to make a little extra cash. And I signed up for this website called Bandmix, which is like Tinder, but for musicians.
Never
and so it's more like Match.com, actually. And so the way it works, you upload a photo, you can upload like WAV files. You're like, this is the gear I have, this is the genre, this is how serious I want to take it. This is the sound, all that stuff. And so the other 3 band members, Ryan, Ty, and James, were living in a town 30 minutes north of Abilene, a town of 700 people, super tiny.
It's not Nimrod, is it?
No, it's
Tuxedo.
It's called Albany, Texas.
All right.
And so they were living there, and Ryan just, and I think I went through 3 bands that I was like, and they were kind of like, oh, we just, they talked about wanting to like make it big.
Yeah.
And a few of them did, and then there just wasn't any like
kind of straight up rock band
work
kind of sound.
I was into anything, country, blues, whatever.
All right.
And so James, Ryan, and Ty had been a band for 3 years before that, and they'd been grinding. They all dropped out of college because college really just wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And Ryan was working construction. Ryan and James were best friends. And Ryan and Ty are cousins. And Ryan went to college for a semester. And James was like, you want to drop out and make a band with me? And he was like, absolutely.
Wow.
Dropped out immediately. They bought Ty a bass that day and taught him how to play bass.
Oh my God, that's how.
So they were a band, and they were kind of in between drummers at the time. And he hit me up, and he was just like, hey, like, you know, he was just like, I just need a drummer for something else. Yeah. It wasn't even for Dexter and the Moonrocks. It wasn't even for Dexter and the Moonrocks. And they just become Dexter and the Moonrocks. They had just released Couch. Okay. So, and they're like, hey, come by. I sent them some videos of me drumming, and I went by, and I mean, man, it was just the first time we played together. I was like, oh, this is going to be something.
Yeah.
And it's something, you know, like you hear, and as coming from someone in sports, you hear like Kobe and Michael Jordan and all those people talk, and they're like, you know, like you have a killer mentality. You want to wake up every day and like die for this. Yeah. And I thought I had it for baseball. I didn't, but man, we played that first day. I remember it was November 22nd, 2021 was the first time we ever played together as a band. And I was like, this is gonna be huge.
You all just kind of felt it. You all.
I was like, we're gonna make this something. And they thought I was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And so then we became that band, and then Ty was working in the oil fields.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Ty worked in the oil fields for a long time. Ryan was working construction. James was a fry cook at a local restaurant. Shout out Fowler's in Throckmorton, Texas. He was a fry cook there, and then we just like.
So were you kind of the energy of the band? Were you the ones that really felt this, or did you not verbalize it?
So you got to think too. They've been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
And they've been playing just respectfully shitholes.
Yeah.
In Texas, just getting the piss beat out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're playing 9 to 2 in the morning for $300.
I was gonna say, like, yeah,
that's a 4-hour drive away. You maybe made $30
after gas.
Like after you split it after gas, after you're sharing a shitty Motel 6.
3 years is a long time.
So they'd kind of just been like, man. Yeah. And I kind of was like, hey, like, do you care if I make a TikTok? And they're like, no. And they just let me have free reign with that. And I'd pull them and I'd be like, let's do this, let's do that. And they'd be like, you're crazy. And then it just started working, and they're like, oh shit. And they knew they were good, but I think there was a little just of like, we've been doing
they
this
need a little push.
I don't think they ever needed a like push.
No.
They like I think whether or not I was in the band or not, they would have been successful.
Were they kind of hamstrung by their jobs a little bit?
Yeah, and you're hamstrung by your jobs. You're hamstrung by the fact that, like, you know, it depends on, you know, it's you're
if
living
you do a Midwest tour, then you have to take off.
And then you have to take off, and you got to figure that out. And what are your jobs? And so that kind of became hard. And but I mean, just super fortunate that, I mean, we had American Aquarium said it best: the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
And we just had so many good things fall our way, and we had so many other things that didn't. That so many what ifs that. Like, I'm such a psycho. I have a list of everybody that's ever wronged us, and I just keep it in the back of my, keep it in the back of my head. And
there's
I just
nothing that's not psychopathic.
Yeah,
that's comeuppance. That's karma.
Yeah.
That is everything, but it's documented.
So I know.
I love that.
Oh, I have it in the back, like, and I think about those people all the time, and I'm like, I bet you're feeling real fucking stupid right now, buddy.
It's always the people you see on the way up or the ones you see on the way down. And you never know which person you're going to be, but it's always good to have that name of that person, because they knock on your door. They want to open for you. They want a name or a number from you. You're like, we're not.
Yeah. So
I think the band.
They know who they are.
So the band needs you. The band.
No. I think, man.
But I don't think any drummer might have that same drive.
Yeah, and I get that. But I mean, you know, it's such a thing where, you know, songwriting wise, I think. You know, I've written a few, and Ryan's written a few, and we've all written together, but I think James is, you know, in a league of his own, and Ty actually produced all of our music up until Birds and the Bees.
Videos as well?
So, no, I did the videos.
You did the videos? I love the videos. I love,
So I did all the social media, but, like, if we don't have Ty, and he figured out, like, on his free time, he was sitting there figuring out, like, how to make a home studio.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to go record with Ty, you can right now, and you can give him some money.
There we go.
DM us on Instagram. And yeah.
Always solid.
Always. Hey,
solid.
ABC, baby. ABC.
Always the club.
But I mean, he did Kate McKinnon, he did Sectional, he did Devil Like Me, he did Space Invader, he did all the early, he did Couch.
Really?
The drums on Couch are piano, because nobody could afford to mic a drum kit.
Really?
So it's MIDI piano. Those are the drums on Couch.
Oh my God.
And so, and it's just, and like the drums on Space Invader are a $500 Roland Electric kit that we mapped into GarageBand. And some of the sounds, like there's during the verses, I'm keeping time on a rim. The rim doesn't fucking exist on a $500 Roland Electric. So we had to MIDI a piano. And so I played and put the rim in. Yeah. So like I'm playing like, cause it's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So I'm hitting there just doing. And then we get a piano key, and I'm just like
recording it, and you just hit it over and over again.
And that's how we did it. Yes. And so we had to learn, and it was a huge advantage because I think so many people, like artists nowadays, will be like, I have to go to a producer and sink $5,000 into a song. Yeah. You don't. We're living proof of that. Like,
well, Tom Mello just said this like last week. Talked about musicians versus artists, and he goes, people don't like me because I don't give a shit what kind of gear I use. He goes, I have something that I bought in 1994. I'll pull it out, bring it out, see how it sounds. He goes, but I'm not locked into any gear. The other thing is, with you as a drummer here, and this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard, and allegedly it's true, but when the Ramones did their first album, it would have been, I'm trying to think of the first drummer for the Ramones.
Joey.
Took 2 grand pianos and opened them up and put his drum kit between them. So apparently when you hit it, they said it sounded like a bullet going off because it would bounce between the two.
So when the levee breaks?
Yeah.
So a Harry Potter stairwell? You know when I say that? Yes. Like if you're like the Harry Potter room or whatever? So they had a stairwell like that was open. So it wasn't, so like if you picture the Harry, like just a diagonal and you could go under the stairs, right? Okay, yeah. So I believe how it goes is they put John's drums under that stairwell and there was a long hallway. And so they put a room mic at the end of a hallway, and that's it. So for when the levee breaks, and that's why it sounds massive when you listen to when the levee breaks.
Is that kind of obviously that must be like fun for you at least to understand?
Yeah, and we have a great producer. I mean, we have such a great team behind us, and I mean, just the ability to get with different songwriters. Yeah. And we got to write with Gabe Simon, who did Noah Kahan's Stick Season. Yeah. And we got to do a song with him. We got to do a song with there's a new guy that we really like. His name's Hank Compton, who's phenomenal. We just did a very grungy song with him. But like our team through Severance Records, through Big Loud, has kind of hooked that up, and it's really helped James get better at songwriting. It's helped me. We've been able to do that, and then we have a phenomenal producer in Ryan Hewitt and sound engineer in Louis Rimenap. I can never say his name right, but and Ryan did a lot of engineering with Rick Rubin. He was Rick Rubin's engineer for forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so he did like Stadium Arcadium with the Chili Peppers. He did Self-Titled with Blink-182. He did. He also did some Noah Kahan stuff. He's phenomenal. And so he lets us try all sorts of shit. And just go in and be crazy. And we just got done recording with him in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
And we got a new EP coming out.
So I was going to say new EP in 2025.
New EP coming out, and
I know some dates in January, a couple in February. You're Texas mostly. Then there's a couple festivals coming up.
So we've got it's the Philadelphia radio show.
Okay.
That I don't know. They like do it outdoors because they're psychotic.
Yeah, I was in Philly.
Yeah, in Philly in January.
That's rolling the dice.
So we've got that.
Yeah.
And they're like, everybody just sucks it up and stands in 13-degree weather. And we're like, are you fucking kidding us?
No.
We're from Texas. Are you? It's 11 degrees out in Milwaukee right now. This sucks.
Yeah, this is horrible.
So we do that. But then we're doing. We break up our tours by power conferences in football. So that's why. So we're doing the SEC in February.
Are you currently in Big Ten right now?
This is the Big Ten. Midwest is Big Ten. And then what was the Pac-12?
Yeah.
Or we'll do like Mountain West. Okay. And it helps because we're all
the actual cities.
Because you don't want to go to Athens, Georgia in July.
Yeah.
When nobody's there.
Yeah.
And so we try to and sometimes you can't get around that. We try to plan it, but that's why we do specific things like
that's the most unique and genius thing I've ever heard in my life.
So we always go to the SEC in February.
Yeah.
Because you go to Athens, you go to Oxford, you go to Baton Rouge, you go to Chattanooga, you go to all those places in February because baseball hasn't started yet. The SEC traditionally is not good at basketball, and if they are, all those schools aren't basketball schools.
And
and football's done.
So people are dying for something to do.
And everybody just got back.
Yeah.
So you don't have finals, you don't have anything like that. We do the Northeast in November because it's cold, it's not snowing. All those places suck at football, so they don't care, and basketball hasn't started yet. And if it has, it's regular season, nobody cares.
Yeah.
So that's why we do like that, and then we're trying to figure out, what's our bread and butter for the Midwest, but like we'll always do the SEC in February.
That's absolutely the best idea. That's a college education being used to the nine.
And shout out, we're with WME and our agent's Mike Krug, and he's phenomenal. He agrees with us on it, but it's just kind of like why would you go to Clemson when nobody's there?
Yeah,
why would you go to and we love Omaha, Nebraska, but like we could get Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
We can get more juice out of that orange
when somebody's
if
there.
we go in April rather than if we go in August.
And a 1,200 person club when you have nobody in the city and you're hoping for townies to come, it's not going to work. As opposed to a campus of 17,000, 23,000, 50,000 people, an Ann Arbor or something like that.
Especially when your audience is like, I'm 23. And our audience is 18 to 27.
Yeah.
That's what it normally is.
They'll be there.
And so it's like, okay, getting those kids in there and stuff like that. And and we try to do smart things.
Did you guys come up with this?
Yeah, it kind of just made sense.
It makes perfect sense. Because
so many people, it's so funny. Like I remember I had a conversation with our first tour ever. We did it in the SEC schools.
Okay.
And we did it in April. And we played Columbia, South Carolina, the day of their spring game, which has 80,000 people at it. And I think we sold and granted, we were not a big band.
Yeah.
So we played a place called the Senate. Sadden, Carolina didn't exist.
Okay.
It was our first tour ever.
Yeah.
We were averaging 200 tickets. So we did 250 or something like that. And I remember calling our agent and being like, hey, did we check the football schedule?
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh. Because he'd been booking Texas country guys and country and western and stuff, and that's not a big a deal, and they were all older.
Yeah.
And so we were his youngest band by far.
So he had
And I mean, he's a great agent. I'm not dogging him right now, but it's just I was like, they were like, oh, we didn't even know there were spring games.
He wasn't doing strategy.
And
There's no strategy.
It wasn't like that. They were very meticulous in where they sent us, and they were smart to send us southeast first because we knew we hit in the blue collar areas. Mm-hmm. But it was just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, hey, we and they're like, oh, let's do it this way, let's do it that way, and it evened out. Super great.
If you get 1/20th of 80,000 people, even walking by a poster of your show, that's enough to sell it out. You know?
and because it's such a different market for us.
Yeah.
Because we're in this weird college space, but also all our fans are in the military and blue collar.
Yeah.
And you've got everybody loves grunge, but everybody loves country. And so it's super props to them because they really figured out how to market us, and they've stuck us in traditionally country venues that we've sold out where only William Clark Green is playing.
Yeah.
But we go in there and we blow it off, blow the doors off the place because they understand okay, we're gonna if we lean you into more into some country spaces in specific locations.
Yeah.
We are a wild band to deal with because you've got you've got so much you've got split dyed hair girls with fishnets and tattoos and dark makeup showing up at the same time. You've got dudes and fucking Bass Pro Shop hats and Lucchese's and or Tacovas on with buckles and stuff like that. It's a great place to be,
though. I mean, it's the crowd tonight was like that. It was all over the place. It's great.
Shout out William and Morris. We fucking love you guys. You guys are so good.
This has been the most insightful interview I've had.
Oh, dude, I can keep going if you want to. Dude, we can. Hey,
somebody's texting me, so I feel like it's somebody from here going. You're they gotta get on the road. You're like, so Fox, dude, it was so great to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Come back to Milwaukee anytime. Come back in summer, man.
Yeah, so last time we were here in summer. No, actually, we were here in October.
Okay,
it was our first time in Milwaukee. Back in October, we played Turner Hall.
Okay, yeah,
so that was super great. But
get you back in summer for Summerfest.
Yeah, no, we will.
Throw it out there.
Summerfest would be fun.
Throw it out there.
Anyway, you can find us at _Moonrocks on all locations. We have merch, tickets, and all things for sale on our website. We make Western space grunge music. If you don't know who the fuck we are, it's kind of like if Nirvana grew up in West Texas. You'd like it. You love it. Maybe you don't. We have a saying. It's like we don't care if your boots are cowboy or combat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just throwing out all the liners right here.
I love it.
We appreciate it. Go listen.
2025?
EP 2025.
Titled yet?
It is titled. I can't tell it to you. And I can tell it to you after.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
And then go listen to 102.1 and shout out Milwaukee, and I guess go Bucks. I can't say go Brewers, though. I'm really sorry about that.
Understandable. Rangers fan.
Yeah, I apologize for that one.
And we used to be in the American League even more.
You did. Yeah. So, anyway. But,
so your loyalty's respect.
It is. I can't believe you guys didn't pay Craig Counsell, though. That was fucking crazy. Anyway. All right.
Perfect way to end it.
All right. I'm out.
Thank you, brother.
Ring the bell. Wait, hang on. Make sure you ring the bell, like, and subscribe to this channel for more content. Click. Okay, now I'm out. Bye.